Hello and welcome you all. Dear students, this topic is Programmable Logic Devices, that is PLD. It is the topic from the subject VLSI Design and Technology. In this session, we'll discuss what is PLD, then what is the necessity of PLD, what are the classifications of programmable logic devices. We'll also discuss the design flow. So let us start the session without wasting the time. As far as logic devices are concerned, there are two major types. One is fixed logic devices and another is programmable logic devices. Whatever discrete ICs you have learned up till now, those are discrete ICs. That means if you want to implement any application, you need to connect many discrete ICs on, let us say, on a single PCB. So there is a complicated interconnection. To avoid this, PLDs are used, which are programmable logic devices. So PLD can be programmed according to the requirement of the user. Suppose you are not using PLD, you are using discrete ICs, then as I said, large space is required because many discrete ICs are required. And suppose you will select one particular discrete IC and after designing you will come to know that that is not fulfilling the requirement. Then in that case you need to change that particular discrete IC. But PLD has many discrete ICs combined together and it is in the form of a single IC which can be programmed according to the user's requirement. So there are different software tools available. By making use of those tools which can we can reprogram this again and again. So number of discrete ICs occupies larger space that I just now mentioned, whereas PLD requires less space. So PLD has a single IC. Using software tools, we can quickly design the things according to the requirement, as well as we can verify the design using certain software techniques that we are going to study in this unit. So this can be reprogrammed for different applications. Now, advantages of PLD. So as we discussed, less design time is required, then low power requirements, then reduced space because you are not using separate discrete ICs, you are using a single PLD. Then high design security, low production cost. The design is flexible and can be reprogrammed within seconds. That means you can reprogram the design according to the requirement quickly, and it has a high switching speed. So this is the introduction of PLD. That means what is PLD and what are its advantages. The next part is classification of programmable logic devices. From the exam point of view, you may expect the question like this: what is PLD and how it is classified, or what is the PLD and what are different classifications of PLD or types of programmable logic devices. We already discussed PLD is programmable logic device. Now this is the major types. These are the major types. First is SPLD, that is simple programmable logic device. Second, CPLD, complex programmable logic device. And third is FPGA, field programmable gate array. As far as the CPLD and FPGA are concerned, we are going to study in detail in the same unit. So presently we are talking about the classification of PLD. This part, simple programmable logic devices, these are related to the earlier technology. People were using SPLDs before discovery of the CPLD and FPGA. There are three subcategories of SPLD. First is PROM, that is programmable read-only memory. Second, PAL, programmable array logic, and PLA, programmable logic array. This PROM, PAL and PLA you might have studied in earlier subjects. We'll discuss in brief. So SPLD, that is simple programmable logic device, as I said, it is related to the earlier technology. So it is having fixed functions and applicable for smaller circuits. So it is having fixed number of functions and limited logic gates. But it is a low cost and high pin to pin performance devices. So whenever the cost is the major criteria, or you are talking about some limited applications, simple applications, then still this SPLDs are preferred. Then, as I said, PROM is the first subtype of SPLD. So programmable read-only memory. It is basically array of and or gates. That means it consists of an array which has number of logical AND gates, and again it is having array which consists of number of logical OR gates. So and or arrays are implemented on a single chip in case of a PROM. And array is fixed and or is programmable. In case of PLA, that is programmable logic array, I'm talking about second subtype. Both and as well as OR arrays are programmable, whereas programmable array logic, that is PAL, in this case, AND array is programmable and OR array is fixed. देन नेक्स्ट इज सीपीएलडी. जैसे मैंने बताया ये सीपीएलडी और एफपीजीए हम लोग डिटेल में लर्न करने वाले हैं इस यूनिट में. Presently I am explaining in very brief. So CPLD is complex programmable logic device. It is erasable PLD. That means you can reprogram it according to the requirement, and it is programmed with VHDL coding technique. So it is basically arrangement of many number of SPLDs on a single chip. In this case, EPROM and EEPROM technologies are used. Next is FPGA. See, there are many differences as far as the CPLD and FPGA are concerned. Again, we are going to study it in detail. What are the differences between CPLD and FPGA? Presently, FPGA is suitable for all complex applications. It has a wide density range, that is from few thousand to millions logical gates. So it consists of few thousand to millions logic gates, and it is very large system interconnected chip. So this is about the classification of PLD. Now let us discuss the design flow. From the exam point of view, you may expect the question like this: draw and explain the design flow of CPLD or FPGA. This is common. I mean, design flow for both the things is common. As the name indicates, design flow means we have to start from certain higher level by entering the specifications of the application that we want to design, and we have to reach up to the component level. That means designing of the components. So this is the flow of how the designing is done. First block is design entry. As the name indicates, we have to enter the specifications of the thing that we want to design. I mean, these are the things related to the particular application that we are going to design. So you can enter the design specifications by using your personal computer, or there are another methods of entering the design specifications. One is schematic entry, then another is using HDL, that is hardware descriptive languages. Then next is using FSM, that is finite state machines, and next is EDIF, that is electronic data interchange format, and so on. So by making use of such methods, you can use any one of the method. We have to enter the design specifications. Next block is the synthesis. As the name indicates, this block is used for the synthesis purpose. That means it is done by converting the system descriptor from high level to the low level circuitry. So basically, conversion from high level descriptor to low level descriptor is done by the synthesis block. It identifies the errors, that is syntax errors, if you are using hardware descriptive languages, and the errors are identified, and we need to correct those errors before finalizing the component level designing. Next block is functional simulator. This block, so the desired specifications are checked by using these functional simulator blocks. Then if there are errors, those errors are again checked and errors are corrected. So this decision block indicates if there are design errors, then they are corrected. I mean, if the design is not correct, Then again we have to go back to the design entry. We have to check the design specifications. If required, we need to make changes in the specifications and so on. Then if everything is correct, next block is design implementation. Very simple. As the name indicates, we have to design a particular application by using CPLD और FPGA. जैसे मैंने बताया, हम लोग डिटेल में लर्न करने वाले हैं. So this design flow basically consists of three approaches. One is top-down approach. As the name indicates, we have to move from top design level to the bottom design level. It is applicable for larger system. That means if you want to design a larger system, then divide the design into different subparts, subtypes, and then again consider each subtype and then go on subdividing it till you will reach up to the level of designing a particular component. So it is top-down approach applicable for larger system. Quite opposite, bottom-up approach. If we are knowing the library of devices, that means final devices, then this bottom-up approach is used. That means we have to start from low level component designing up to the high level, that is final designing. And third is the mixed designing, which makes use of both the approaches. Initially we have to start from top down device and we have to reach up to the medium level designing, and then again go on using this bottom up approach. So this is the design flow as far as this CPLD and FPGA are concerned. So dear students, that's it for today's session. So thank you, thanks a lot for watching this video.